I think you have some idea about me seeing my action, who am I? And also he told that I'm a photographer. Yeah, I'm a photographer from Bangladesh. Growing up in the early 90s, I always had good styles. And this is my first time in Europe. And of course, I only don't like camera accessories, but also I like shoes, jackets, and bags. So one of the first things I did once settling into my hotel was go and hit the stores in Maastricht. And I was always hear about, you always know about the European fashion, and I was really keen to know what is it all about, hoping I might get some good deals. So I was exploring some stores in Maastricht. These are the pictures. And these pictures are from my country, Bangladesh. Rana Plaza. It's an 8-story building which collapsed on 24th April 2013, where more than 3,000 workers were working on that day. Though they knew that they have some cracks on the building, but they were forced to work on that day. And for me, the day I remember, it was just like any other day. I was working on my computer, and suddenly, around 11:30 in the morning, my uncle came and asked me, come to the television, something worse happened in Savur. Then I ran to the television, and what I saw, it was really shocking. There is dust, there is chaos, and the news presenter was saying that a building had collapsed. And I remember I didn't wait, I think, like a single second. I took like 5 minutes to take my camera and just ran. I took an auto rickshaw to got there. When I got closer to the site, I couldn't go pretty much closer to the site because their roads were blocked, and I had to walk. So I started hearing shout and cries from far distance. And as I got close to the site, I saw dead bodies and rescue workers all around me. And also, people are in a very vulnerable situation. The rescue workers are helping to, they're like general people who are helping to rescue people from the collapse site. And suddenly I felt that time, am I in a war zone? Because it was like so heavy, the whole emotion and the environment, it was so heavy. And I feel I never covered war before. But what I've seen, it seemed like it's worse than a war zone, what I have seen on the media. So I remember around 7:30 that evening, 2 volunteers came to me and asked me to follow them, and I followed them. And I walked through the rubbles, I walked through the piles of clothes, wires, and I ended up going to a place where I found 2 dead bodies. The woman's face was covered with a black cloth, and the man and the woman was huddling each other, and I think that was their last moment before they die. So these rubbles I walked through and got into that place. I'm going to that picture. So this picture I've seen. This moment I have seen when I got there with the workers. In that moment, I realized that it was my responsibility to bring the voice of these people to the rest of the world through my pictures. And I feel like their voice should be out. Though I was feeling that, I should physically help them, the rescue workers, but at that moment, when I saw this moment, I really feel that I should, spread out more about this collapse. And Rana Plaza collapse considered as a world's worst industrial accident. And still, when I go back to my pictures, see them, I feel very overwhelmed. I feel very emotionally broken, drained. So many of them lost their hand, legs, and lots of them lost their family members. I know a family who lost their 6 family members. The missing dead bodies. So after 4 months of the collapse, I went to New York City for a photojournalism workshop, and it was my 3rd visit to New York City. And I really love that city. It's very sturdy, very, very live. It has a lot of things to offer. A part of that, I always have very traumatizing and unpleasant memories from there. Because when I was walking down the street of Fashion Street or all the fashion houses, it reminds me, it gave me a flashback of Rana Plaza when I saw the tags and logos. Because many of the brands I didn't know before, I saw them first time in the rubble. I couldn't understand that time that how the glass of wine I would buy at dinner would be cheaper than a pair of jeans on sale. Or when going out to dinner with friends in New York, paying the bill in total, how it could be the same amount a garments worker earned in 1 month. Also, how can a garment only cost 9 euros when you think about everything is that needed to sell that pair of pants for only 9 euros? The cost of electricity, the shipment, the paying the workers' salaries, and everything involved with that. So you realize that somebody must be losing here. So what is the real cost of fashion of your cheap clothing? So I couldn't settle my mind. It became a personal issue to figure out how could I take this voice more further. I didn't want the world to forget about Rana Plaza. I wanted to be there a long-term solution and remembrance. So I knew that the photographs eventually could be forgotten or buried under piles of news, or people might forget about Rana Plaza. So that's why I wanted to collaborate with many people. So eventually I ended up collaborating with my friend. He's a filmmaker, Nathan Feach. So we collaborated a project called Cost of Fashion. So we made a documentary about the Western consumerism. And also, Nathan and I collaborated with Illuminator, International Labor Rights Forum, DRUM, and also some other organizations. And we arranged a protest night on the first night of Fashion Week, 2014, February. We projected my image from the collapse onto the building of Lincoln Center. And also, some stores who didn't pay the compensation to the victims of Rana Plaza, who used to make their clothes in that factory, like Children's Place. As the night progressed, I got lots of reaction from the people. I remember old lady came to me and told me how the big corporation destroying the future of the world and how they are exploiting the workers in third world countries. And it has a longer term impact on the Western world. And also we created a website about this, about our film, and also people could know about the Rana Plaza and also what initiative they could take. And also our film got published with New York Times on the anniversary of the collapse this year. And it has been viewed more than 500,000 times since then. After this line, through the protest, the creation of the video and the project, my goal is not only bringing awareness to the issue at hand, but also to the work that remains to be done. Over 100 apparel brands and retailers have now signed accord on building fire and safety in Bangladesh, and they are working together and try to make the situation better. And interesting to know, like 18 Dutch companies are also with them, like Hema, G-Star, Fashion Link, and many others. This is one of my favorite pictures. I'm very close to this picture, so yeah. The girl is looking for her sister's body. She couldn't find. Tonight, I'm not here to tell you not to buy at those stores, or how you cannot, or to tell you you cannot good feel about those good deals. It's true that as a global society, we must start thinking about what companies we support. For our economic choices, we have a lot of power, and they have a very long way to go. And unfortunately, more often than not, our economic choices have long-lasting consequences on vulnerable communities. And it is not only true with the clothing industry, also cell phone, diamond, and gold. When I think about this, and when I think about what's happening like this, I feel very overwhelmed, helpless, not knowing where to begin or how to start. I can bet many of us also here feel the same way when they see this news on the newspaper. They might think, well, who am I? What can I do for these people from thousands of miles away? Well, that's exactly what I felt on the first day of Rana Plaza, watching in horror at the destruction and the chaos before my eyes. That day and the days thereafter, I felt so much individual responsibility, but I also felt so much suffocated by the weight of the responsibility. But so slowly, I started to reach out to other people who also feel the same weight, same responsibility. Together, we lifted the weight, actually, and we started to spread our thought and effort about Rana Plaza. I collaborated with many people, not only photographers. I collaborated with artists. I collaborated with filmmaker, radio show host, and also I also talked to people on the street, what they think about this. And through this collaboration, the weight of the responsibility was no longer a weight. It was a push. It was a movement. It was a motivation and source of energy. Together, we supported each other. Our collaboration, our effort multiplied. So today, I'm here to tell you that, yes, it's true that we are all only one, but together we are many. We are few. We can be hundreds, we can be thousands, or we can be even million. Today, I'm here to tell you that the best way to tackle the weight of individual responsibility, to fight it with a passion, and then find others who are just passionate the same way. Then as an individual, we work together. Thank you.